West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
A.m. in the Mile High City on this Tuesday, August 26, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights, hottest takes from the right, left, and center. We're talking the desperate effort by Cracker Barrel to figure this thing out. And bottom line, just become less corporate. This is like wildly stupid corporate speak. And Bill and I both know this because we've worked in corporations. And their response was so corporate. Like, I don't know if you get these, but I watch these funny memes on Instagram where they have like a translator for corporate speak.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
You know, some of those are like little cartoons.
Yeah.
And it's because you can just read it a mile away.
Oh, yeah.
It is not personable. It is meant to cover some form of legal issue that you could see coming a mile away. And it just doesn't connect with the heart. And if you think your core customer, 75 years old, who loves your food and loves the ambiance and sees all this happening, you think some corporate memo is going to connect with her?
Yeah, if it
break.
If it says, we wish them well in all their future endeavors, they were fired.
Right,
That's what that says.
Yeah,
you get that email in the company, and we wish them well in all their future endeavors. Yeah, your coworker was fired. Yeah, that's corporate speak. It's exactly what it is.
Well, let's go to the phone lines. Francis Golden. Good morning, Francis. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Yeah, morning.
Morning, you guys. Hey, when you read that, when I used to work in a restaurant, and every now and then as a joke, we would open up like a Sweet and Low packet and just kind of spray it in the air before somebody walked by. And it was the most saccharine, syrupy, horrible smell in the world. And that's exactly what I got from that. It was saccharine, syrupy, and stupid. And I think you guys were all like, this is a bunch of people acting together to try to write this complete nonsense. I thought it was more of a possible AI chat GBT thing that was run through it several times. Because that's how some of that AI stuff reads. It'll ask you how to tone it and everything else, and then it just spits out some nonsense like that. I'm amazed. You guys. How many I'm trying to run down in my head known unforced errors that we've seen recently, and this is one of the bigger ones. I mean, obviously the Bud Light thing was huge. I also think about the idiot executive with his paramour on the big screen kiss cam. All of these things are just, did anybody sit down and actually think about this? Like, they paid somebody a lot of money to come up with an idea that you keep the exact same font and style of writing, eliminate the old guy and the Cracker Barrel, and put it in the same yellow background. I mean, this doesn't even... Couldn't anybody have done this, scratching it out on a bar napkin?
Yeah, in the corporate thing, they talk about the idea that they did testing and listening. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
No,
because if you did
not.
any testing and listening, you would have discovered this sooner. You
have two things here, and it's important to identify both of them, because one is they want to kind of freshen up the stores, right?
Yeah,
well,
which is fair.
And like McDonald's has tried to do that, and to what Bill and I pointed out the other day, it just looks so stale and weird and corporate that nobody wants to go enjoy a meal at a McDonald's right now. Okay, and I saw some of the same stuff with Cracker Barrel, but then secondly, the logo change and 9779 brought this up. Like, what's with the changing of a logo and getting rid of beloved characters like Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben, the Land O'Lakes lady, and going really stale and corporate to the point where you lose all this like built up goodwill.
I'm still mad that we lost Grimace and the Hamburglar. I'm still itching over that
Yeah.
from the 70s. I'm still mad about that.
What is the point of ushering these characters off and providing stale corporate brands that nobody likes? I don't get it. Like, in what world does this work?
Yeah, I don't understand why we get rid of the mascots and things, although I will make one exception. Dinger. Hate him. Get rid of him. Dinger.
God, yes.
The rest of them,
Get rid of Dinger.
The rest of them, I think they're wonderful. Don't do any of the
I
mascots.
like Dinger. What's your
Dinger
problem with
sucks.
Dinger?
Oh, no,
Dinger-
he's
Come
awful.
on.
He's a Barney ripoff.
Yes.
He shouldn't be within 100 yards of any child.
Yes, he is. It's awful, and he's spooky. And here's the thing.
Barney
Okay,
ripoff.
now here's the thing. Here's the thing, Francis. You're absolutely right, man. That he is a total Barney ripoff. Here's the thing that drives me nuts. The kids love him. If you're under the age of 8, he is the best part of going to a baseball game. So as much as I dislike Dinger and I want to see him done away with, if I was in the meeting, I'd probably have to keep him because the kids love him, and I don't understand it. I have no idea. But,
You know what? I don't want my kid running around a pantsless, obese, diseased thing.
Yes.
That's what I think. That's because that's Dinger. That is literally Dinger.
If I want him to run around some pantsless mascots, by God, I'm taking him to Disneyland. Let me make that choice.
Francis, great call. So
Thanks,
much
Francis.
fun. Francis from Golden. I hope we'll see Francis tomorrow.
Yeah, I hope
Francis,
so.
swing by.
Yeah,
We
we'd
saw
love
him
to see
at
ya.
one of the other IHOPs we did, and that was a ton of fun. He's a great guy. It is so much fun to have our regular callers show up in person.
It is really
and you
cool.
actually put a face with a voice. Joe from
really neat.
Arvada comes by.
Oh,
Joan
wonderful.
said she might be there tomorrow.
Yeah, Joe from Lakewood. It'll be great.
We've had Francis come by before. So
Yep, a
if
couple
you're a
of our
regular
texters are gonna come by. It's
caller,
gonna be
come by
awesome.
because people love to meet you. You like Barney,
Yes.
for instance. We
Yeah.
haven't heard from Barney in a bit, but
No.
people like have those connections.
Yeah,
So,
they do.
yeah.
Because again, we're just this is a community. We're all being silly with each other in the morning in the air. Because here's the idea that even Jeff and I understand. It's hard. It's a slog out there. There are so few moments of joy and happiness that we are able to discover together over the course of our day. But we're just happy that you guys are hanging out with us for a little bit. We really appreciate it. So come spend some time with us tomorrow. We're at the IHOP at I-25 and Colorado Boulevard, the one that is just north of there. The really cool deal is the special that Mike Boyle hooked us up with. IHOP is giving us the big breakfast, $7.10 for eggs cooked any way you like. Your choice of the meat, the ham, the sausage, the bacon, hash browns, and pancakes, $7.10. And these are the IHOP pancakes. They're called the International House of Pancakes for a reason. You don't get that by being really good at the burgers, as Jeff outlined earlier. The way you do it, you do it the IHOP. You do it with the pancakes. So do that also if you want to spread your wings a little bit. I'm just tip from me to you. The beef tips may be the best entree on the entire menu. Not taking the breakfast stuff now. The breakfast stuff's different. We're talking the rest of the day, those beef tips. You want to go strong in the morning. You're thinking maybe not that pancake, maybe not the eggs. I want something a little heavier. Beef tips. They'll do you right in the morning. Yeah. Don't have a special on those. I'm just giving you that as a recommendation. But come on out. We are there, I-25 Colorado Boulevard, starting tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. bright and early. Hope to see all of you.
Now it's time for news and comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good Tuesday morning. 59, mostly cloudy outside in Denver, expecting a high of 76 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story.
Our children can't walk around the community without fear of being hurt or kidnapped or having a drive-by. So it's what these numbers that they're expressing, we don't feel it in our quality of life.
And that's a Chicago dad supporting 47. DJT is ordering the creation of special National Guard units trained to deal with keeping public order. Monday's executive order comes as 47 has talked about using the Guard in other cities like Chicago. He's done it in D.C., of course, but that comes with different rules. And Stephen Miller says, you know what? The commies don't appreciate what 47 has done up to this point.
And the Democrats, instead of jumping up and down and saying, thank you, President Trump, thank you for saving our lives, thank you for saving our cities, thank you for scrubbing away all the graffiti, the trash, the homeless encampments, the druggies. Instead of cleaning up the city, instead of thanking him for that, they're saying, President Trump, how dare you save our lives? How dare you save our children? How dare you save our city? The Democrat Party, Sean, that exists today, it disgusts me.
On Sean Hannity on Fox News Channel last night, a man is facing a sentence of life in prison without parole after his conviction for first-degree murder and aggravated robbery Monday. The Denver jury found Gregory Stapleton guilty of stabbing Richard Ford III. Investigators said the two men argued over a pair of free socks at the Aurora Higher Education Center in 2020. Ford died from a stab wound to the heart shortly after the argument. Stapleton will be sentenced October 20th. The brother of late NFL star Pat Tillman is no longer facing local charges after he crashed his car into a San Jose post office, damaging it. The DA's office has dropped county charges against Richard Tillman, noting he's already facing federal counts in connection with the July crash. Tillman's older brother, Pat, of course, famously left football behind and chose to serve his country in Afghanistan as an Army Ranger before being killed by friendly fire in 2024. A man is facing charges after burning an American flag near the White House in protest of an order signed by DJT.
No president can make a law, period. No Congress will make a law infringing on First Amendment rights. I'm burning this flag as a protest to that illegal fascist president that sits in that house.
You know, I think anyone who burns an American flag, something ought to be done. Like the next time they want to do it, we ought to rap a minute and say, hey, burn this one.
The man said he was a combat veteran who was burning the flag in protest of the order for prosecution of flag burning. Phoenix cleaning up today after a huge wall, massive wall of dust and dirt. There's a huge wall of dirt and dust that knocked out power for thousands.
The ominous clouds rolling over entire neighborhoods.
Can't see anything. We're in the middle of the haboob.
And temporarily grounding all planes at Sky Harbor Airport.
Man, hopefully they'll get some rain today. Venezuela is sending 15,000 troops to its border with Colombia in what officials say is an effort to fight drug trafficking. The move comes as the U.S. has sent warships to the region in an operation against drug cartels. The DJT administration has accused Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro of working with cartels. The GOP-led House Oversight Committee issuing a new subpoena for documents from the estate of Jeffrey Epstein. The committee is moving ahead with its probe into Epstein with a request for his will, any documents resembling a client list, and any black books containing Epstein's contacts, flight logs, and an alleged book of birthday letters from Epstein's friends. All right, the Broncos made some cuts on Monday before today's deadline to cut down to 53 players. And the Browns, they'll start Joe Flacco, and they'll go with Dylan Gabriel at 2. And guess what? Shedeur Sanders will make the cut because the Browns trade Kenny Pickett to the Raiders. Now it's all up to Sanders, see if he really wants to learn and grow and become a student of the game. Just days away from college football, Wyoming at Akron Thursday, Georgia Tech at CU on Friday, CSU at Washington on Saturday, and Air Force plays host to Bucknell. Rockies begin a 3-game series tonight in Houston, 58 in Castle Pines, 57 in Lakewood, 59 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue. Blake Olson, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Subtropical moisture is deep and it's right overhead and will be overhead for the next several days, producing clouds, night and morning fog, cool temperatures, and occasional showers and thunderstorms through Friday. Highs will only be in the lower to mid 70s today, 70s to near 80 for Wednesday, low to mid 70s Thursday. Weather is a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Well, there's a whole lot of chaos happening down there at the Colorado State Capitol as they're dealing with a special session called by the governor to deal with $1 billion budget deficit. And to give us an update, we've been getting updates every single day. Today, I'm very excited to talk to Representative Ken DeGraff. Representative, thank you for taking time to join the Jeff and Bill Show.
Yeah, good morning.
Well, thanks for taking the time to chat with me. Good morning.
Representative, I'm seeing these videos over and over again that you keep getting put in timeout.
Nice job.
I don't understand. What is the story behind all this? Give us some insight.
Oh, well, the timeout was a half hour where I would not be recognized from the bench because I pointed out the simple fact that one of the representatives, their constituents were clearly not the residents or not the citizens of Colorado, based on the legislation that they're running. That they're not representing the citizens of Colorado, and that landed me in timeout for a half an hour. So that was okay.
So pointing out that the money that they want to spend is for illegal immigrants, not necessarily their own constituents. Is that right?
Right, yeah, the rubber stamp-a-palooza or spendthrift summer camp, take your pick. But the only way that they have addressed this $1.2 billion worth of hole in the budget is by more spending, more debt, and more taxes. So there's really, and anything that has limited it to, say, something like residency. I'm looking at a couple bills here that would require, health care to require residency, or in the state residency, a citizenship in the United States. Those things are, for feticide, for genital mutilation surgeries, these really expensive things that are, I'm not sure if they're really designed to, well, I think they're designed to drive up the cost of health care and drive us into a single-payer solution, I think, is ultimately what they want. But they're not actually for the citizens of Colorado. They're representing an ideology that doesn't benefit the citizens.
Now, that's Representative Ken DeGraff, Colorado State Representative. During this special session, I feel he is my spirit animal. He's being put in timeout by the Democrats over and over again for pointing out some dumb stuff they're doing. Now, this may be a help or a hindrance, Representative DeGraff, but I would suggest, and take this as you will with a grain of salt, that maybe you stand up and keep asking them questions like, how much money is this going to save us? How is this closing the hole in our budget? That seems to be question number one. And all I hear coming out of the Democrats are two things. One is either we need to spend more on these projects and we have a window since we are in special session, or we are just going to move around the deck chairs on the Titanic. We're not going to save money. We are just going to move money out of one program into another one because we are going to shore up the programs that we like and try to insulate them from cuts. I don't hear the Democrats coming with any proposals that show any significant savings that would put Colorado taxpayers and the state of Colorado on a better financial footing. Are they trying to drive us into bankruptcy despite Tabor, Representative DeGraff? What the hell are they doing?
I don't know if they're trying or if it's just they're just doing it without trying. They're just really good at it. They're
just magically good at this. They're like idiot savants. They're just. I love that.
They're the idiot savants of economic collapse. No, you're right. I mean, we do point out that when you take on $100 million worth of debt, you're not actually you're not actually solving anything. You're pushing down the road. When you're taking away the qualified business income deduction, you're just adding to the cost of business, and that cost to businesses is going to be reflected in the cost to consumers, and that cost to consumers, of course, is effectively a new tax on the consumers, and it doesn't actually help the economy. So but these are the things that they came in with. This was Steph Luck had a bill to limit the governor's limitation of the scope of the General Assembly, but the Democrats, of course, rejected that because they're effectively functionaries of the governor. So these bills were very carefully crafted, and so some of them, even the speaker actually believes that the Republican bills that were all pretty much killed on day one believes that they had a fair hearing, and that the Democrat bills actually represent some sort of responsible legislation, even though, like I said, the only thing that we've seen so far in solving the hole in the debt is it's kind of like, I keep thinking the song "There's a Hole in My Bucket," and they're trying to fix it with an axe, and the only thing they've come up with is more debt, borrowing $200 million from basically loan sharking $100 million and borrowing from the citizens, and let's see, getting rid of the vendor's fee that they use to offset the expense and the burden of collecting taxes on behalf of the government, and getting rid of the qualified business income tax reduction. So they're just, these are, the governor's scope was carefully crafted to encompass these bills. These are the bills that they wanted through. So you can see that there was never any intention of coming to the Spendthrift Summer Camp with any ideas of reducing spending. It was just a way to, I think, what it is right now, we're on day $200,000 or $198,000 of a campaign stunt to be able to say that H.R. 1 blew a hole in the budget, when the hole in the budget was evident when the budget was signed. They had it was all based on, you had a budget based on smoke and mirrors and unrealistic projections, and just basically the laws of wishful thinking. And when it manifests, then H.R. 1 comes along, and then this is a good opportunity to blame H.R. 1 and spend more money. So the only things they've really done is talk about how H.R. 1 has blown a hole in the budget, and then the way to solve overspending is more spending.
It's Ken DeGraff. He's a state representative down at the special session here in Colorado. He represents the Colorado Springs area. Representative, yesterday I saw lots of posts from lawmakers saying, we're just sitting around. We spent most of the day, we said a pledge, we notified people we were present, and then for hours and hours and hours, they just sat around while the House and the Senate negotiated something. Give us insight into what happened yesterday and what you're expecting today down at the special session.
Well, what you said was a perfect summary of what happened. We just we got in, we swore in, we pledged in, all that, and then they said, well, we'll come back around 3. And then we'll come back around 4:30, and then we'll come back around later. Don't come back now. Don't call us. We'll call you. And I think it was about 9 o'clock where they finally assembled us. And then, one of the AI bills that was added to this, and I guess it was from what they said last night. This was added to this because the anticipation that some of the stuff going on in AI could lead to significant costs for the state, especially, one of the one of the bills last year in terms of accountability and liability could add significantly to the cost of the state. So that's one of the reasons that it was on there. And from listening to the, because largely everybody was, just in the dark. Instead of having these conversations on the floor about, artificial intelligence and having, it's just all done, with a select few people behind, and then we're just supposed to, they were just supposed to rubber stamp whatever they had. And it sounds like they had a deal to rubber stamp something, and then it sounds like the governor shifted on his, whether he was going with consumer protection or creator protection, because there's a, the AI right now is strangely unaccountable for, the decisions that it makes. The, an individual would be, responsible for the decisions that they make. But if they defer and say, well, this was done by an artificial intelligence machine, I'm not really sure why that, absolves somebody of the responsibility, because ultimately it's them that's, making the decision. Just, the AI is just an employee of that, of that individual. So I'm not really sure why they're absolved. But anyways, so they just put a delay on that bill, and sent it down, and we just spent a day doing nothing yesterday.
And running up the bill on the taxpayers. So what do you expect to do today? Are you down at the Capitol today?
We're down at the Capitol today. I don't know why it's noon. I'd rather go in a little earlier than be there later.
They're recovering from the hangover.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't know if they have. We should have some thirds and some Senate concurrences, and just the wrap up. So I'm really hoping that it does not go into another day tomorrow. But the entire session has been an absolute farce, and that is really unfortunate, because this is just more example of government being done to the citizens of Colorado instead of for them.
Gosh, that is the line right there. I mean, you don't get the sense that, God, our lawmakers rolled up their sleeves and sat down like we all do at the family dinner table and looked for places to cut and adjust this budget and get things straightened out. Nope. Instead, to your point, it was forced upon them. All right, we got text messages here real quick. Representative DeGraff, tell us what the Penny Amendment's all about.
Well, the Penny Amendment, or the Pick-a-Penny Amendment, was just the only thing that the Democrats were going to ever approve was going to be more debt, more fees, more taxes. Now, they've raised them by getting rid of reductions. But the only thing that I could think that the Democrats hadn't feed already was, coins you find on the ground. And so I thought, well, if you pick up a penny, you have some sort of good luck. So I monetized that level of luck and attached a fee to it. So since it is probably the only thing left in Colorado that does not have a fee associated with it, there was a little trepidation that offering that as a little bit of satire to point out the ridiculous nature of the call itself, of what we were doing there. There was a little bit of risk that they would actually take it, and the only thing more ridiculous than taxing a penny that you pick up would be taxing the air you breathe, and they already do that with carbon credits and the hundreds of millions of dollars that we spend on that.
And what was the response to the amendment?
Well, the response on the conservative side has been very strong. The response on those who worship at the trough of government was a little bit incredulous, and they just can't believe that they would be subject to ridicule for their inability to lower taxes and their penchant for putting a fee on everything.
I love it.
Ultimately, it resonated. I think it resonated with people because it's only funny if it's true.
Right.
And I think people recognize that, the level of fees is to a ridiculous level, and that should be an indication. But I guess they're not reading their audience of the Colorado that that maybe they don't want to be feed anymore, they don't want to be enterprised anymore, and so the Democrat solution to that is more enterprises and fees.
Well, we always appreciate some good satire here. That's Representative Ken DeGraff reporting to us from the Colorado State Capitol upon the special session that's taking place down there. Hopefully the last day that they'll be down there. Democrats in power holding a special session. Hold on to your wallets because it's only going to get worse. Well, Representative DeGraff, we appreciate your time today, and we hope and encourage you to end up in timeout again.
Yes, please.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.
That's Representative Ken DeGraff. You can follow him on X at CO Rep K DeGraff. Just type in Ken DeGraff into X and you'll find him there. But fun to follow. And he likes to get in trouble. He doesn't mind.
Yes, he does.
In fact, that's exactly what Bill and I would be doing down there at the State Capitol.
Oh, yeah.
Be like, if you're going to drag me in for this stupid thing, I am going to fill it with satire, like running a penny amendment where we tax people for picking up a penny or, end up in timeout for some words I said.
Oh, I'm showing up with one of those hats that has like the 2 beers on the side and a straw. Yeah, we're going to make this. Not only that, I am going to show up with inflatable furniture that I can put next to my desk there in the well.
So
I got no
take
problem
a nap
with that. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
On the inflatable furniture.
Oh, sure, yeah. In fact, there's a guy that I watched. Okay, side note here. Guy that I watch online, and he recently went out there and bought what he thought were the most ridiculous things on, I want to say it was either Instagram or TikTok as far as advertisements. Okay. He bought an inflatable gorilla couch. And the thing is huge and ridiculous. And I sort of want one. But that's what I would do is I would show up with my inflatable gorilla couch and I would have it there in the well. Yeah.
I saw a video of these guys that went to a town hall.
Yeah.
And they were there with sleeveless shirts on. Concerned that
bare arms?
that they were going to lose the option to bare their arms.
Yes, I love that. Yes, that's the problem I would be having.
If the Democrats are going to do this, like it becomes this big dog and pony show.
Oh, absolutely.
That the governor, like we've said from the very beginning when we had Barb Kirkmeyer on, right? That this was something that the governor could have just done himself.
Yes.
But no, he's going to drag them all in. And to Ken DeGraff's point, they've now spent $180,000 on the special session just to employ everybody involved with it.
Yeah.
And they sat around all day yesterday. Did you hear that? I mean, did you hear that?
Yeah.
They gavelled in at 8:30 or 9, and then it wasn't until 9 p.m.
Yeah. So just doing nothing all day.
Could you imagine being called in for work, special emergency work, Bill Thorpe, and you just sat around for 12 hours before anything was actually done?
I mean, think about that.
I hope that there would be more shenanigans down there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, imagine your boss calling you and saying, hey, something's happened. We need you this weekend. Extra shifts.
Urgent.
Yep. You show up and he's like, I need you by 9 o'clock in the morning. You show up at 9 o'clock in the morning and you don't do anything all day. They waste your entire day doing nothing, and then finally the work arrives at 9 o'clock that evening, 12 hours after you originally were asked to show up to work. What does that tell you about the people that are in charge of your workspace? Why aren't the Democrats, when the special session arrived, why aren't they more buttoned up? Why did it take them 12 hours to get their ships in line in order to make the session go forward? Oh, I know why. It's a personal thing. Because they're just trying to run the clock out. The worse this is, the more they can gum up the works, the more they can delay anything, the less that can be accomplished. And then they come back and go, well, we tried. We tried. We were in a special session. What could we possibly do? You couldn't even ask us to show up at 9 o'clock in the morning and then do work before 9 o'clock at night. That would be silly. Why would we spend the entire day of a special session doing work? Why would we expect that of our lawmakers?
Now, this is confession time.
Oh, good. I would like this.
There was a time in my life where I had to do a little bit of community service.
Oh, hey, you and me both.
May have been a little naughty in the late middle school, early high school days.
Yeah, I do that too.
One of my community service things was there was a park in Greenwood Village where we moved brush from one location.
Yeah.
So sticks, logs, branches, those types of things. So we moved from one location to the next.
Yeah.
Had lunch and moved it back. Okay?
Love that.
All right. That was a more productive day.
That's true.
Than what happened yesterday at the Colorado State Capitol.
Yeah, because at least the sticks moved. That's it. I mean, the bottom line, at least they got moved. We didn't move any sticks yesterday. No sticks at all.
Yeah,
Nothing. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, imagine if you, okay, here's the thing. Imagine you've got, some of us during the summer months, we do some home contracting, okay? You maybe are doing a remodel of a deck out back. Maybe it's a bathroom in the house. Maybe you're getting that work done on the roof that you've been putting off. Okay, you've talked to Colorado's Best Roofing, one of our advertisers. They're hooking you up. Maybe that's happening. Now, you show up. This would never happen with our advertiser, Colorado's Best Roofing. But you show up. You went with all those other companies, and they showed up at like 8 o'clock in the morning. Like, wow, this is amazing. And you get there after work, and they haven't done anything. They stood around all day. You're paying for it. They're charging you the money for them to be there and working, and they've done nothing. Would you be happy with that remodeler? Would you be happy with that roof company? Would you be happy with that plumber if you knew they sat around pulling the paycheck for 12 hours doing bupkis? Yeah, no. You wouldn't be happy. Nor should we be. We should be happy as taxpayers that our elected officials are down at the Golden Dome wasting time. The time.
And driving up your taxes.
Yes.
So
that's the crazy part.
And making you pay for it. So just want to wrap this on a little bow
ridiculous.
here, okay? This was a special session that was not needed, that they called, that they spend, was it like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a day, and they're now up to $180,000, okay? So it costs you money for an unnecessary special session in which the solution to the deficit is going to be to charge you more money. And you wonder why people polled don't think the government works for them. Just stop electing Democrats. All right, let's talk about Dan Caplis with Dan Caplis Law. Dan suggests you should choose a lawyer who shares your values, because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everyone involved in the case. Dan Caplis is the son of a police officer and a former seminarian who's dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who are hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado state history. Dan Caplis Law, the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call. Here's the phone number, 303-770-5551. That's 303-770-5551, or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S Law.com. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Wake up, Denver. There's no better place to start your morning than IHOP, where the pancakes are fluffy, the coffee is hot, and the smiles are endless. Wednesday, August 27th, join Jeff and Bill as they broadcast their show live from IHOP at 1595 South Colorado Boulevard in Denver. You're officially invited to be part of the excitement. Come grab your favorite breakfast and watch the Jeff and Bill Show in action from 6 to 10 a.m. Don't forget to try the special Jeff and Bill breakfast. Pancakes, any style eggs, and crispy bacon, all for just $7.10. It's a deal as good as their hot takes. All they need is you. Bring your appetite, bring your friends, and kick off your day with great food and great conversation. See you Wednesday, August 27th at IHOP.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Wrapping up a great conversation with Ken DeGraff here. He's putting time out for saying, care more about illegal immigrants than your own constituents. Get over to timeout, Mr. DeGraff.
And I do appreciate the idea of him. What I think is very clever about what he pointed out is none of those immigrants that you are worried about providing services for cast a vote to put you in office. That perhaps the priority should be those people that cast votes to put you in office, and even, in some ways, to honor those that didn't want to choose you. But, yeah, pointing out that as constituency, I appreciate that, Representative DeGraff. I appreciate that. I think he's clever there. I think he's did a good job.
I'm wondering what you've been sent to timeout for in class before, Bill.
Oh, here's the fun part, and you know this. Jeff and I have talked about this a little bit before, is that I have been asked to leave class a number of times. Some very rarely for acting out. Normally it's because of this thing, my mouth. That's because the filter was really hard with me at times. And it wasn't that I was being rude. It's just that I got these smart-ass answers all the time. And it was a problem. Oh, boy.
Were they mostly religion classes?
Yeah, most of the ones I got kicked out of were religion classes. And that would seem very, very appropriate. Very, very appropriate. I was asked to, and this is in college. I was asked to not return to a religion class for 3 days because I made it a problem.
At CCU?
Yes. Yes. I was asked, and I said, "Is this going to affect my grade?" I said, "No, we just can't handle you right now." I'm like, that's fair. I know that. I've heard that from my parents.
We've heard that from listeners.
Yes, I have.
Like, I need a break from Bill Thorpe.
I tell this. Okay, I tell a story that there are times where even my wife will turn to me and goes, "Give me a moment. You're a little much right now." And then she walks away. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. Yeah, she puts me in timeout too. That's okay. Yeah, not the first time. And I'm not saying I don't deserve it either. I remember, 7th grade, I get kicked out of class for causing a problem. I deserved it. Absolutely. And it was that I was not keeping up with class and I was slowing class down. And one of my friends was at another classroom further down the hall. So I kind of slowly scooted my butt down the hall. So I'm about halfway down the hall by the time class ends. And she looks at me and she yells at me, "What are you doing all the way down there?" And I said, "I'm sorry. You said I wasn't keeping up the rest of class. I think the entire world slipped and I ended up down here." Yeah, that was a meeting with my parents. We weren't going to have that parent meeting until that. Good job there. Yes, we all learned something that day. Maybe we just have sometimes the stuff in my head stays in my head. Maybe it should not come out, and I shouldn't say it to the other adults that have power in the situation.
Yeah, it landed you exactly where you need to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Facing
yes.
Jeff Hunt on a daily basis,
yes,
debating.
Absolutely.
A seminarian.
Yes, and there are times in which Jeff's like, "What did I do to deserve it?" This is part of it.
My penance.
Yeah. You're being punished for something,
wandering
my
in
friend.
the wilderness.
Yes, exactly.
All right, we've got a lot to cover. Here's my question to you all out there. The state session, the state representative Senate down there, they're wrapping up the special session to fill $1 billion budget shortfall. Do you feel good about it? Do you feel they rolled up their sleeves and got to work? Or are you like me and you have no idea what's going on down there? Even the lawmakers are like, we're standing around. We stood around for 12 hours yesterday. And it seems like it's government forced upon the people, not government of the people, as Representative DeGraff said. I think that's exactly right. As you look at this special session wrapping up, do you feel confident in our government officials and leaders that they've fixed things and that the state budget's going to hum along and things are going to get better, maybe cheaper? Or do you feel like it's just going to continue to get more and more expensive and you have less transparency, less understanding of what actually is happening down there than even before they started? That's how I feel. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us at 720-819-5115. All right, let's talk Gyrie's. We are getting our home improved. And typically when I add little home improvements and stuff like that, I wander around the big box stores and feel like I have to do it all myself. I didn't know about Gyrie's until my wife and I went in recently in Parker, met with a professional designer who answered all my wife's questions. It was awesome. And to be able to watch my wife's creativity come out and have somebody that was a real pro help her was really, really cool. So we are checking out their Hunter Douglas custom blinds, shades, and shutters. And if you're looking for new paint, new blinds, even new home decor, they have that in-home personalized consultation for you. It's remarkable. They'll come out to your house with all the different colors, and they will measure the blinds using lasers to get them to be perfect. And you can see what the color is going to look like in your home. It really is impressive. We've loved working with Crystal. You can get the same expert advice right in your own home. Do yourself a favor. Get started today. Visit GuyRees.com to schedule your in-home consultation. That's GUIRYS.com. GUIRYS.com. Go see the great people at Guy Rees. You'll be sure to thank me. We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710 KNUS.
President Trump posting about the Cracker Barrel logo. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Cracker Barrel should go back to the old logo, admit a mistake based on customer response to the Ultimate poll, and manage the company better than ever before. They got $1 billion worth of free publicity if they play their cards right. Very tricky to do, but a great opportunity. Have a major news conference today. Make Cracker Barrel a winner again. Remember, in just a short period of time, I made the United States of America the hottest country anywhere in the world. 1 year ago, it was dead. Good luck.
That's weird. Again, dead and hottest country anywhere?
Yes, I love
dead?
that guy. America,
Dead?
a year ago?
Dead? No.
It was a drifting, aimless ship.
No, it wasn't. No.
Yes, it was.
We were leading NATO. We had put that back together. We were supporting Ukraine. Oh yeah, there was a group of people that didn't like that.
Our president wasn't even signing his own executive orders.
Again,
he went to bed at 4 p.m.
Again, have no
fed applesauce.
Again, have no proof of that. However, that does not equate to America being dead, regardless of the situation with our chief executive. That doesn't mean America's dead. That's the idea. Is his just this idea that America's dead and now we're I don't know. Yeah. Does everybody feel like we're in the great American golden age so far? Has it happened? Have we been winning? I
do.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
No.
If it wasn't for Colorado, 100%.
Have you seen my grocery bills? It's ridiculous.
100%. If it wasn't for the Democrat leadership here in Colorado,
I'm
things would be
for all
better.
The savings. Where's all those prices were supposed to go down? Everything's going up. I don't understand. Where's that? Because that was the thing he was supposed to do day one. That was one of the top 2 things he was supposed to do. I give him credit for the border and the immigration. Yeah, great. Good job. Well done.
And
well done.
Look at
and
how we've
fair.
turned around the universities.
How?
All that
By
stuff.
cutting money from them?
No, you got rid of a lot of these woke crazies that were at universities. And
Did you? Like
Yeah.
what? How many were? I thought. Here's the thing: is I thought that the majority of the staffs were woke crazies. Where I haven't seen a vast turnover of the staff because that's what I've heard is that these universities are these vast liberal indoctrination centers. Yet somehow we have 1 or 2 people leave and we're like, victory is ours!
Bill,
It's so
headlines
silly.
out of the New York
It is so
Times
silly.
about how things have changed at these universities and the quote-unquote lasting damage that's done to our progressive worldview.
But how? I thought all those crazy libs are still there.
No, he's turning it around. Now, I am concerned about
They're all there,
600,000 Chinese coming in.
It seems like a great idea, huh? But that's again,
I don't
that's plus for him.
understand this. This one he's got to make some sense on. But yes, no, things are
he wants
turning
600,000
around.
He wants
He knows how
600,000
to
Chinese
turn
students
things
here.
around.
Yeah, all those bankruptcies. That did a great job, and that's what he's great at. He's turning it around, and we're the deficit's going up.
Bill wants to go back to the Joe Biden days, where your inflation was going up by 20%.
No, that again, it also went down. Again, I'm not pining for the Joe Biden days, but if you're going to say that he caused it to go up, then you have to give him credit for it going down. Can't have it one way or not the other.
Oh my gosh, the debate will continue. You're listening to Jeff and Bill.
710 KNUS. This is how we roll.